everybody and welcome to In My Mug, episode number 92 on Monday the 16th of August 2010. My name is Stephen Layton and I have no way of confirming this for you, but you're just going to have to take my word for it. I'm going to break the cycle. Good stuff on last week's, the El Salvador. Lots of love, and I mean lots of love. Most we've had for quite a while on the Finca Argentina. And it's something I've been enjoying too. I think it's a super coffee, really pleased and proud to have it. A couple of housekeeping things for next week's In My Mug. It's going to be recorded on Thursday. Now the reason for the Thursday recording is I am on my way to Brazil. Brazil. And I need a favour. Basically, I would really love you to leave your comments, but leave them as early as you can. So if you can get those comments in by Wednesday afternoon, that would be superb for me. Otherwise, I have nothing to talk about. Reason for the trip, going to Floresta, which we've done the natural and the pulp natural on here. Going to Terra Mata, which is a coffee that we did a little while back. Espirito de Santo, which one we didn't do it in My Mug of because we didn't have a lot of it and it never seemed to get round to it doing. But yeah, and also we're going to be finding some other coffees while we're out there too. The following weeks after that, bear with me, it may be a little late, just, you know, uploads and all the rest of it, but hopefully I'm going to record that while I'm in Brazil. You may notice today that there is no white background. It will be back at some point, but for the next couple of weeks it's taking a rest. I need to learn a little bit more about Final Cut Express and how I can do things and make it smarter and better. So this week there was not so many comments. I had to plead on Twitter on, I think it was Thursday night. But I was really super surprised about that because it seemed to be a coffee that you really liked. So anyway, let's dive into that. So let me just get my iPad. It's getting a fairly common thing now where I'm not very well prepared. So, but I have the page up, so that's kind of prepared. So, bring this up to the side here. I don't know how this is going to work. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to edit something in here, but we shall see. Dan Latcher said, "Hello, my name is Dan Latcher, and I know this because of my autofill comment selection on the blog." Like it a lot. Emil said, "What a wonderfully good coffee you have found this time. Super, quite to my taste. The complex sweet fruit taste is very appealing and it will be fun to see how the cup develops over the week." And it is one that develops a little bit, you know, with a little bit more time. So if you have any left, do go back and look at the El Salvador. Colin Morgan, a very different coffee this week and some interesting flavours. Not sure it's amongst my favourites yet, but we're good to see how it develops. So another one waiting for it to develop. And I love that you guys understand that these things need to develop. I think that's brilliant. Enjoyed the video again this week. Now regular Sunday evening viewing. A bit late to trying the coffee. Just having an AeroPress now. Very much enjoying it. Sweet and interesting. Well, espresso later. Mark said, "I'm not normally a big fan of the fruity coffees, and I tend to prefer the more earthy coffees, but this is a delight." Whew, like it. Definitely smell the fruitiness on the dry grounds. Once brewed cup has cooled down. You have a bag of mixed dry tropical fruits, but not as sweet. Love those descriptors, Mark. There's a lovely aftertaste, which I'm struggling to pin down the flavour. Flibster, as promised, Steve, of the beans and the grounds, I've got quite a lot of fruit and it smells really sweet, but once I've brewed, I've got an awful lot more fruit coming through, but significantly less of the sweetness. And there does tend to be a little bit of a trade-off sometimes. This one was very much a fruit sweetness, so very much. My hay fever is playing up a bit recently, so I'm having trouble identifying the fruit, but I do get the oranges coming through once it's cooled down. I only tried this in the V60 with a cloth filter, which I'm trying to give some love but struggling with at the moment. You're not alone. V60 cloth filter, so V60 but just with the special cloth filter in there. I found it really hard work too. I think it's been an experiment I'm not sure I would keep going back to. I really have struggled to get the best out of it, Flynn. We'll give this an AeroPress later. Jess said, "It's pomegranate." It's pomegranate? It's pomegranate. I think it must have been my startled way of saying it was pomegranate on the video. Chris Rushbrook very kindly posted a really nice long one, which I shall take highlights of. Managed to miss the last few weeks' videos. Shame on you. But really have been enjoying the recent subscription coffees. Well, okay, we'll let you off. Finally got to catch up with the vids over the last few days. You definitely let off. No complaints about the white background for me. Well, I liked it, and I really do like it, but I found last week's, the editing was just so difficult. This week's was very enjoyable. I share your love of the Chemex, but have sadly been deprived of mine as it met with an accident a few weeks ago. But I've been drinking this in the single cup pour over and think it's a really lovely cup. That's super. By the way, got down to the new Has Been blend at Fernandez and Wells. Got a sneak peek before it was official, courtesy of Mr. Robson, and thought it was a great espresso. Yeah, and Fernandez and Wells do have a super blend at the moment. Listen, thank you all very much for those comments. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I love the comments, as I keep saying. I really want them to keep coming through, so please do. What I'm going to do is going to whap you on pause a second. Going to go and prepare the coffee. Really interesting coffee for you this week, and I will be back with you in a moment. Okay, so I'm back for the third time. I've actually recorded this and not pressed record twice. So if I repeat anything from the first half, it's because I've said this 3 times now. So I'm back, and the coffee that we've got today is from Nicaragua. And like so many great Nicaraguans that we've had, this year there is something going on there that the quality is just amazing. Really big, bold cups. So this one is called El Quetzal, and it's owned by my lovely friend Roberto Bandana. And I was lucky enough to visit his beautiful farm in 2008 as part of the El Salvador, Nicaragua trip I did. It's just outside Matagalpa, and is a fairly large region of Nicaragua. Altitude of 1,200 to 1,300 metres. The farm has a mix of Caturra and Cataí, which I think are both 40%, and then the rest is made up from Catimor. What else shall I tell you about this farm? Roberto. Let's talk about Roberto, who's an amazing guy. He's all about quality coffee. I've known him for a number of years. I actually knew him before we bought his coffee and found out afterwards that he was his coffee. From the board of directors from Cup of Excellence, Ace, from when I was on the board, and he was the chairman of the board for that the first 12 months of me being on there. He is just a super guy, all about quality coffee. But also all about the quality of providing for his workers. He's very in touch and very popular amongst the people who work for him. I'm going to show you some photos now of the school, the medical centre, and some new housing work he was doing when we were there in 2008. And this is an ongoing rolling programme that Roberto does. He employs around about 150 permanent workers on the farm, which tells you the size of this farm is quite large. And then he drafts in 450 pickers, you know, for the picking season. Things that he's done for the workers there is things like running water, which wasn't there when he took over, replacing latrines with actual flushing toilets in toilet blocks, washing and kitchen facilities being separate. Also provided a biodigester, which takes the human waste and turns it into methane for cooking, which has 2 effects. One, give somebody some gas to cook with, which is it means that they don't go chopping down trees all of the time, burning wood, which is fine, but you run out of wood eventually. But also stops the water getting polluted round about the farm and things, so keeps the water very pure, and which obviously has a knock-on effect for the coffee, which seemed like obvious to me, but when Roberto was explaining it, I was like, oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that. So the cup I'm using today is one that's been very kindly donated to me. I'm going to see whether I can zoom in. I don't know whether I can, but... and this was given to me by Simon Floyd, who is a regular commenter and actually commented on today's ones. And the reason I'm in here, which, have I told you? I can't remember because I'm recording this part 3 times. I hope it's recording this time. It probably isn't. Yeah, I'm in my office. So this is the hub of Has Been. This is how glamorous my life gets. Painted breeze block. Although I have got a nice red sofa. So yeah, the reason I'm in here is when I was recording earlier, which I'm going to show you here, and hopefully try and zoom in just a little bit, you'll see that there's a poster that I've had like 2 weeks
that somebody sent me. And then I get this from somebody different sending it me. So I just thought it was a coincidence, and it was time to invite you into the warmth of my office. Welcome. Right, and the other reason is that I've also got a brew station built here. Andy's built me a brew station. Andy's our roaster, and he got this idea that we needed somewhere that when people came in we could brew some coffee, and it's worked well. So today we're using the vat pot, and this coffee will work equally as well in espresso, and I mean really, really well in espresso. It's actually a story that while we were cupping it, cupping away, and it was just like, right, I'm going to run this in the espresso machine, and ran through to run it through the espresso machine, because it is just amazing. You can tell, once we get to the flavour descriptors, you'll understand why. So, snozzer in the bowl. Have I done snozzer in the bowl? I don't know what I've done. I'm going to do snozzer in the bowl again anyway, just in case. So, you smell the raw cacao. This is chocolate heaven. I mean, really, really is. Lots of chocolate going in there. It's very, very kind of big aromatics, but the chocolate is really the dominant flavour in there. Into the cup. Again, dominant flavour. You smell in this chocolate, and this has cooled a little because it's the third time I've recorded it. And as it's each time I've done this now, the chocolate's even more. This is like a real milk chocolate. Right, time to dive in. Lucky enough, still hot enough to enjoy. First thing that hits you, surprisingly, because I've said chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. You get a really smooth milk chocolate. It is absolutely delicious. As it's cooled, the chocolate, as I say, has got more. But you get a real thickness, a viscosity. It's chewy. It has a real kind of... You're chewing your way through the coffee. It covers the tongue, and it's still sitting on my tongue, even though I've drunk it and I'm talking and you think it would wash away. It's there. You get nuts. So you're getting like a peanut, hazelnut. Really amazing. And the best descriptor we came up with when we came off that espresso machine was a Snickers. Snickers bar in a cup. Really, really, very, very obvious Snickers bar in a cup for me. Absolutely adore it. Really like it. I think it's not a complicated coffee. That's the compressor joining in with us. I'm not re-recording it a fourth time. We'll have to live with the compressor. Yeah, it's not a complex coffee. There's not masses of taste going on there. The acidity is it's there a little, but it's not in your face. The biggest part is this sweetness of chocolate. And the compressor has got to go off in a minute. You get that sweetness. I'm going to give you a voucher code now to my left, which will give you 50p off in the store for the next 2 weeks. If you've tried this coffee before, please try it again. You will be amazed at how good it really is and how much it has changed. Not to say that it was rubbish before, but I think this has really got better, along with the other Nicaraguan coffees. I think it's a stunner. Things before I go, please do comment before Thursday on this video. Please, 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 please. Otherwise I will be talking to myself. Please do cut me some slack on when this video comes out. When the following, not next week's, but the week after's comes out. It depends on my connection in Brazil. I'm going to pop a link up here, which is to Audio Boo. I'm going to be doing some in my mugs, but doing them as a little bit more kind of very quick, audio only, as and when, which will be interesting. I'm also going to be doing some audio blogging while I'm in Brazil, but I'll be putting those on the blog as well. You can also access Audio Boo on the right hand side of the blog, which I'll show you here. And yeah, I'm going to finish up. Thank you very, very much for joining me, as always. How are the lads? Go back and watch the football. And do remember, life is too short for bad coffee.